Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a shortcut, really, into the life of a true national architect. We're unpacking the summary of Wings of Fire. That's the 1999 autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, written with Arun Tiwari.
Yeah, a fascinating figure.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at his background, father of India's missile program, key space scientist, later the 11th president. It's
Yeah.
quite the resume.
It really is.
Almost
Larger than life.
Exactly. But our mission today, for you listening, is to get behind those titles, understand the human journey. How does a boy from, well, a very small town, Ramswaram, build the kind of character and vision to shape a nation's future?
And that's what makes this book, or even the summary, so good for a deep dive. It's not just, the technical specs of rockets. It's about leadership. It's almost a manual on building national confidence, arguing that character.
Yeah.
That's the real fuel.
Okay, so let's dive in right at the start. The early chapters really set this up, don't they? The contrast between where he began and where he ended up. Born 1931, Ramaswaram, Tamil Nadu, Tamil Muslim family, and circumstances were, well, pretty humble.
Yeah, profoundly modest is a good way to put it. The book details that. His father, Jainul Abdin, a boat owner, also the local imam. His mother, Ashiama, a homemaker. Materially, they didn't have much. Young Kalam even delivered newspapers, to help pay for his studies. That pressure, combined with this really strong family morality, that's where those early lessons came from. Hard work, responsibility.
So the aha moment for you, the listener, is seeing how that discipline, it wasn't just learned in a classroom later, it was instilled right from the beginning.
Exactly.
His parents gave him this bedrock, his mother, an ideal helpmate, he calls her, his father teaching honesty, self-discipline, just by example. That moral grounding, that's what he leans on later when things inevitably go wrong in, high-stakes science.
It had to be.
And even then, he was drawn to academics, especially science, maths. That set the direction early on.
It did. First physics at St. Joseph's College in Tiruchirappalli. A solid foundation.
But he needed something more specific for where his interests were really going.
Right. So he moved on to the Madras Institute of Technology for aeronautical engineering. That's where he found his element, studying flight, design. But interestingly, his own big dream wasn't actually designing the planes. It was flying them.
Oh, okay. And this leads us to a really pivotal moment in the book, doesn't it? A major turning point. He desperately wanted to be a fighter pilot. Indian Air Force. He applied. He got through the physical tests.
Yeah.
But then, right at the end, he just missed the cut. Narrowly passed over. The book paints this as a huge blow, a real personal failure. Felt like the end of the road for him at that moment.
And this is such a crucial point to analyze, isn't it? What happens when that first big dream just fails? Kalam's story shows that sometimes, maybe often, rejection is actually redirection. He missed the pilot seat, yes. But that meant he ended up in engineering and design. First at the DRDO, the Defense Research and Development Organization, then soon after ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization.
So that shift from wanting to be an operator to becoming an architect, that changed everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It put him on a path to impact the nation in a way, frankly, no single pilot ever could. He was suddenly building India's future capability, not just flying existing machines.
How did that experience, that shift from personal dream to national design work, how did that shape his view on risk and self-reliance, especially when he got to ISRO? Must have changed how he saw failure.
Oh, completely. At ISRO, he was working under some giants, real foundational figures like Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Satish Dhawan Sarabhai, often called the father of the Indian space program. He basically had a policy. Failure is part of learning. Expected, almost.
Okay.
Kalam really absorbed that. He learned that the leader takes the blame when things go wrong and shares the credit when they succeed. Vital lesson, especially during the SLV-3 project.
Right, the SLV-3, Satellite Launch Vehicle Mark III. Let's focus there. For someone listening who knows a bit about this stuff, explain the scale of this project back in the 70s. Why was building this particular vehicle such a massive undertaking for India then?
In a word, self-sufficiency. Before SLV-3, India needed other countries to launch its satellites, building its own launch capability. That was a declaration of independence, technologically speaking.
A strategic statement.
Exactly. After years of work, and several setbacks, SLV-3 finally launched Rohini in 1980. India's first satellite launched on an Indian rocket.
Wow.
It wasn't just tech. It was geopolitical. It showed India could stand alone in space. Huge boost to national morale. And it proved Kalam's approach worked. Stick with it, even when the odds seem impossible.
And that experience, managing big teams, handling national pressure, learning from failure, that fed directly into his next big role, right? back to defense.
Precisely. After SLV-3's success, he moved back to the DRDO to lead what's probably his most famous project, the IGMDP.
The Integrated Guided Missile Development Program.
That's the one. The goal here was total self-reliance in missile tech. Launching satellites is about progress, science, communication. This was about national security, deterrence, a totally different kind of pressure.
And the results are, well, legendary in India's strategic history. We're talking Agni, Prithvi. For maybe our listeners outside India, what was the key difference between those two? Why both?
They form a sort of layered deterrent. Prithvi is a shorter range, a surface-to-surface ballistic missile. Think tactical defense, crucial for the immediate neighborhood.
Okay.
Agni, though, was designed as intermediate range, much longer reach. It provides a bigger strategic umbrella, a more significant deterrent capability across the region.
And developing both completely indigenously.
That was a triumph of IGMDP, and that's why the nickname stuck. All that work, decades in space and defense, earned him that title, the Missile Man of India. It's not just about the hardware, it's about delivering on that promise of self-reliance.
So if we zoom out from the missiles and rockets, what's the core philosophy the book lays out? It's more than just a list of achievements, isn't it? It feels like a blueprint.
It really shifts gears in the later parts.
Yeah.
He spells out his vision for India, aiming for a fully self-reliant and developed nation by 2020. That was his target then. And the drivers. 3 things, tightly linked. Technology, naturally, but also education. And crucially, empowering the youth.
Right.
He saw that fancy tech in the lab means nothing without educated people and, just as importantly, ambitious young people to take it forward.
But wasn't it, maybe easier for someone like Kalam, exceptional mind, huge successes, to just say, dream big? For the rest of us, isn't perseverance the harder lesson, the more valuable one from his life?
But that's the deeper message, I think. Yes, the call is dream big. But Kalam shows through his own story that the road from dream to reality, it's full of failures. He talks about the SLV-3 launch failures multiple times, moments where the whole team felt crushed. The book emphasizes that the real test isn't avoiding failure, it's how quickly you learn from it and get back up. Perseverance connects the dream to the achievement. It's the bridge.
Okay.
So if we boil it down for you, the listener, the autobiography really revolves around 4 main takeaways. Operational principles almost. 1, dream big. Your goals have to be strong enough to overcome your circumstances. 2, perseverance. Like we said, failure is data, not defeat.
Right.
3, teamwork and leadership. Big things only happen together. Share the success, own the setbacks. And 4, patriotism. Real service means dedicating yourself to the nation's progress, its dignity.
That whole philosophy, national progress, starts with individual belief. It's summed up in his own chain of thought, isn't it?
Exactly. He saw it as a sequence. Dreams become thoughts, thoughts lead to action.
And that leads us to his most famous quote, the one that really captures the essence of Wings of Fire. You have to dream before your dreams can come true.
What an incredible journey we've traced today. From that simple start in Ramaswaram, grounded in those core values, through launching Rohini to building Agni and Prithvi.
It really is remarkable. And as we wrap up, let's go back to that key turning point we discussed. Kalam missed his personal dream, becoming a fighter pilot. Just barely. But think about the immense national impact of SLV-3, of IGMDP things that happened because he was redirected. It leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? Does achieving a truly massive vision sometimes mean accepting that your first dream, maybe the one you cherish most, actually needs to fail to make space for a larger purpose when you didn't even know was waiting? Sometimes, maybe, the detour is the destiny.